Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Basically what this tutorial will show you is how to contour and highlight if you have pale skin. So contouring and highlighting for pale skinned people is different to contouring and highlighting if you have more depth to your skin tone and if you have a more yellow skin tone. So if you've got olive skin or you've got a natural kind of tan, contouring and highlighting is going to be a lot more easy for you because it's a lot easier to find shades that will work for you, in my opinion. When I say pale, I mean very, very pale people. So if you've got that real porcelain skin tone and you've got a pink undertone to your skin, it will be harder to find the right shades for you because contouring shades tend to be very warm based shades, very brown and very orange, and they will look completely muddy on your skin tone and they will completely wash you out. I will also be doing a video on how to contour and highlight and find the right shades if you have a very dark skin tone. I had a couple of comments on one of my previous videos saying that it was difficult to find the right colors. So this will be the video for very pale people, and I will be doing a video for very dark skinned people as well. I know that it's probably equally as hard to find contouring shades and highlighting shades if you have a dark skin tone as well. So keep a lookout for that video. I will be doing that video very soon for you. But if you want to know how to contour and highlight for very, very pale skin, then keep on watching and I will show you how. So what I'm going to do first of all is put my foundation on. The color that I'm using is Revlon Color Stay 180 Sand Beige, and it's for combination oily skin. Because I have fake tanned, my skin is looking a little bit darker and a little bit more yellow than it usually does, but naturally I have very, very pale skin and I have really, really pink skin, so usually I would be using Revlon Color Stay in the color 110 Ivory, which is very pale and it is a pink undertone to it. So if you're a very pale girl or boy and you have pink undertone to your skin, then try that color because it'll probably fit you really well, and I know it is hard to find the right shade for very pale people. I'm just going to be applying my foundation all over my face. Next, what you're going to do is powder your foundation in place, and that is what sets it in place. So if you don't use powder, basically your foundation will melt off a lot quicker and you're not going to have as much coverage, and if you do tend to get oily, you will get a lot more oily and oily a lot quicker. So the powder I'm using is this one. It is the Australis Fresh and Flawless Pressed Powder, and I am just going to be putting a fine layer of that onto my skin, just pressing it into my skin with this Hair and Makeup Addiction brush. Wait, not this one. This one, sorry guys, this one is the finisher. So I'm just sweeping my brush in that, tapping off the excess, and I'm just going to press that into my skin, and I'm going to be concentrating the powder into my T-zone. Another reason that you need to set your foundation in place with powder is because we're going to be contouring and highlighting with powders. If you were to put your powder, contour and highlight straight on top of your foundation, basically you're not going to be able to blend it. So you need to set your foundation in place with powder so that it's no longer got that wet sticky feel and that your face feels quite dry, and that's when you can start your contouring and highlighting. Okay, so I've got my foundation on and my setting powder on, so I'm going to start contouring first. What you should know, if you are pale, you most likely have a cool undertone to your skin. If you've got a cool undertone to your skin, it means you've got a pink undertone. So, for example, if you scratch your skin and it goes pink quite quickly, or when you've got no makeup on, you look quite blotchy and red, or you've got a blotchy pink chest, basically you're going to have a cool undertone. Also, if your heritage is Scottish, Irish, English, some European countries, generally you will tend to have a cool undertone to your skin. I do as well, but like I said, I've kind of confused my skin by putting the fake tan on, so I look much more yellow than I usually do. But anyway, moving on. If you have a cool undertone to your skin, you need to use a color with a cool undertone to contour as well. So if you go in with something that is a warm undertone, it's going to look very muddy and fake. So this is the color that we're going to be using to contour with. This is an eyeshadow from Bobbi Brown and it is called Wheat. With this kind of undertone to your skin, it is very hard to find the right contouring color because they do tend to be much warmer than what our skin tone is, and they tend to be too dark. So I tend to stick with eyeshadows for my contouring purely because you can get them in a much wider range of colors and it's much easier to find cool undertone colors. I'm going to be taking this color underneath my cheekbones using another Hair and Makeup Addiction brush, and this one is called the Chiseler. So I'm just sweeping my brush into that color, tapping off the excess, and basically where I'm going to start the cheekbone is the middle of my ear. So here is my ear. I'm basically going to drag that color underneath and to the corner of my mouth, and that's going to give you a really prominent cheekbone. I'm not going to be going like this. like some people do, because that way you're going to end up with a very obvious stripe down the side of your face. So I'm basically going to be moving it in very soft, gentle, circular motions like that, and gradually applying more colour until I build up the contour colour that I want. So I'm already starting to get a bit of a cheekbone happening. One thing to note is that this is not bronzing. This here is not a bronzer. A bronzer is this here. So you can see the difference. This is our contour shade and this will be our bronzing shade, but this is the one that we're using to sculpt out the face and create cheekbones and make the forehead look smaller, etc. This is the one that we're using to create bone definition in our face, and this is what you use to create warmth to the complexion. So this will give you that sun-kissed look. This is what you use to sculpt your face. If you have a large forehead, now would be the time to go in and contour your forehead. I'm going to contour my forehead because I feel like it is a little bit on the larger side, so I'm just sweeping a bit of that wheat eyeshadow onto the corners of my forehead, and it's going to make my forehead look a little bit smaller and a little bit more narrow. I'm also taking a little bit of that colour onto my jawline just to define the jawline and push anything back that I don't want to be there. There we go, so that just gives you a more sculpted face. So that is enough contouring in my opinion. If you have a large nose, now would be the time to go in and contour your nose. I've already done a video on that, so I'll have both of them linked down below for you. One is with powders, one is with creams. So check that out if you do want to contour your nose. I'm not going to contour my nose in this video because it takes a little while and it's a completely separate issue. Not everybody needs to contour their nose. What I'm going to do now is highlight the areas that I want to bring forward and to emphasize. I'm going to be using this eyeshadow here. So this color is a matte off-white from MAC and the color is Vanilla. I'm going to apply this very sparingly to areas that I just want to emphasize and to brighten. I'm going to be using this brush from Hair and Makeup Addiction and it is called the Queen. And I'm going to be taking a little bit of that eyeshadow. Remember, because it is meant for the eyes, it is going to be more pigmented, so use a little bit at a time. And I'm basically just going to be very, very gently in circular movements, highlighting underneath the eye area and bringing it up onto my cheekbone. So you can see the difference it makes. Onto the middle of my forehead and blending that into my contour and the tip of my chin. A little bit on the cupid's bow of the lips. Done. What we're going to do now is warm up the complexion. You can skip this step if you want to and go straight into blush, but I'm going to use a little bit of bronzer just to warm up the complexion and give it a more sun-kissed look. The bronzer I'm going to be using is this one. It is the Les Beiges, however you're meant to say that, Le Beige, I don't know, from Chanel, and the colour is number 30. I'm going to be using my blush brush for this, and again it's a Hair and Makeup Addiction brush called the Blusher. So I'm taking a little bit of that bronzer onto the brush, tapping off the excess, and I'm going to just warm up the complexion around the outside of the face. A little bit underneath the chin, again just to contour and warm up that neck area. You basically apply this anywhere the sun hits naturally, so I'm putting some at the top of my forehead where I've already put my contour. I'm going to apply a little bit to the bridge of my nose because the sun hits there, like that. A little bit to the tip of my chin where I put a highlight just because the sun hits there. Next I'm going to apply blush. So the blush that I'm using is what? This one, and it is called Pinch O Peach from MAC. As you can see, it is quite a bright pink. If you are pale and you have a cool undertone to your skin, so you have a pink undertone to your skin, stay away from any blushes that are too orange or too orange based or too yellow or brown. Basically those colours are going to wash you out, so you want to stick with a blush that's got a pink undertone to it or that is basically just a pink blush. You're going to apply this to the apples of your cheeks. So a lot of people ask me if they're going to be contouring or they're applying bronzer, do they still need to apply blush? It's completely up to you. They are different products and they're meant to do different things, so it's not like one cancels the other out. You can use them together or you can skip one. A little bit of blush really does make a difference, makes the complexion look a lot healthier. I'm applying this to the apples of my cheeks very, very gently in little circular movements, and blending it up and away to nothing. So you're basically blending your blush back into your contour and highlight. What you can do now, and this is completely optional, it's up to you if you want to do this, you can skip this step, is apply a highlighter to the tops of the cheekbones. I'm using my favourite one, which is the Face of Australia Mineral Therapy Illuminator. It is a liquid highlighter, and basically a little of this goes a very, very long way, so I'm just taking a bit onto the back of my hand, and I'm going to apply this to the very tops of my cheekbones. So I'm going to dot that on with my finger, like that. And then with a stippling brush, I'm just going to pat that into place, and that will blend it out as you pat it. Like that. So that will just give you a nice highlight to the cheekbone. It'll also make your cheekbone appear higher and more prominent. And so that is my contouring, highlighting and blush complete for pale skin. I hope that you found that helpful, and if you do have any questions, just leave them down below for me and I will get back to you as always. I do have Instagram if you would like to follow me on there or talk to me on there. My Instagram name is @StephanieLang_Makeup. I'll have that in the description box down below for you. I hope that you guys found it helpful, and I hope you enjoyed watching, and I'll see you soon. I hope you have a good day. Bye!